Hello, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. It is the day of the last day of the day of the day. It is the last game of the season today, guys. It is Manchester United against Aston Villa later on today, in a very, very downbeat, depressing, miserable last game of the season. What can we do? All we can do is just make the most of it, can't we? That's all we can do, and just enjoy the elements, enjoy the day out and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United actually win the game. Man United actually go and win the game. Wouldn't that be funny? And then we end up helping the likes of Manchester City and Chelsea or whatever it is to qualify for the Champions League. Wouldn't that be absolutely typical our season? Might as well. It's been one of the worst seasons ever, so we might as well just do it. You know what I mean? Just make it as bad as possible. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the big news yesterday about Garnacho will be leaving Manchester United, of course. Very, very sad how this situation has unfolded. But as we know, regardless of a young player's talent, there are certain things that you don't do at a football club like Manchester United. One of those things is going behind the back and speaking to media about the manager. If you have a problem, you go to the manager, you speak about the problem. If you're still not happy, you ask to be put on the transfer list. It's as simple as that. But bringing the club into disrepute, I don't think was a very wise move from Garnacho. I'm sad that he's leaving. We have to ask ourselves, why do these young players keep failing at Man United? You know, why does it keep happening? Likes of Rashford, of course, obviously Greenwood. What is going on with the mentality, and as I said, loads and loads of times, I keep banging the drum about football culture, the football culture, the football culture. People think I'm joking when I say that. People think I'm just using that word as some kind of buzzword, but there is a football culture problem at Manchester United, and one of those was Garnacho going to the media. It doesn't mean I disagree with Garnacho. It doesn't mean that I think he should have been playing or shouldn't have been playing. It just basically means that, when you've got a problem, you speak to your manager. You don't need to go to ESPN and air your dirty laundry. It's sad, I'm a big fan of Garnacho. And as everyone knows, over the last couple of years, I backed him to the hill and back. But unfortunately, I can't. Ruben Amorim needs to do what Ruben Amorim needs to do. Ruben Amorim told the squad in front of everyone, Garnacho won't be part of his plans next season. And to be honest with you, I support Ruben Amorim. And I think this ruthless nature is incredibly important if Man United are going to move forward, if Man United are going to challenge again. A complete overhaul. Ruthless should mean ruthless. Nobody should be exempt from that, no matter what player it is. Ruthless should mean ruthless. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, it'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Let's get it on. Big up, Kenny. What's going on? Pointless match day today. Pointless, yeah. Just going through the motions, Ken. At the end of the day, just going to watch the game, see how it goes. Maybe we might get some young players playing. Maybe we'll get a chance to see some of those younger players. But it is a farewell for Victor Lindelof, Eriksen and Johnny Evans. So I wouldn't be surprised if those three players play as a farewell. It does look like Garnacho will be out of the squad, to be honest. Sad end to a very promising Manchester United career, isn't it? And you know what? I don't celebrate these sort of things, but I do understand where Ruben Amorim's coming from in regards to that. We need to do what's best for Manchester United. We need to build a culture, a team culture, and you know what, we need to erase this social media, television backstabbing, and which has been going on for too long now, and and people talk about Anthony. Anthony did the same thing, so he did it to Brazilian television and stuff like that. So there you go. Absolutely. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, Sal. No chance we can get win today. Why young players are going when we did not see their full potential. Natty, we did not see it. The thing is with Manchester United is a cultural problem. And when you go to the media behind the manager's back and start saying that you should have played, you look at every single one of those players after the game against Tottenham. every single one of those players spoke about the team, how the team should have done better. Whether they were playing or not, all the players did that. It was about the team. What Garnacho did, he made it about himself. You bring the club into disrepute. It's no difference to what Garnacho did, to what Jadon Sancho did. The same thing, right? A similar situation here. So this is the type of mentality that we need to erase from the football club. The cultural problem at the football club that keeps going on and on and on. The off-field antics, the rubbish that we've been hearing over the years. You know, Greenwood, even when before the issue happened with his missus, there was problems. He was abroad, you know, doing shenanigans on duty with his international, with England. You know, so this is the thing that, you know, we need to not feel sorry for these young players. At the end of the day, this is Manchester United. He's part, you know, whether they reach their potential or not. We've had great players that left this football club. Alex Ferguson did it with Pogba when he first was at Man United. You know, if you don't have the professionalism, you know, you have to move on. You know, and I wanna talk about, you know, what Ruben Amorim did to make Sporting Lisbon successful after a 19-year, you know, disappearance in Portugal. You know, what he did, how many players he got rid of, you know, and it's absolutely incredible how many players he got rid of. Unfortunately, this is what Man United need to do. And even if you're a young player, if you don't abide by what the manager says, you're 20, you're not a kid, right? At the end of the day, you know what you're doing. You're not a kid, right? You're not, you know, it's not like you just learned to speak. You know, you are an adult at 20 years old, and you should be able to control yourself, you know? Unfortunately, ego won't win at Man United right now. Man United don't need egos. And people know me with Garnacho. They know how I am with Garnacho. They know that I backed Garnacho. Everyone on this stream knows. But I will not, you know, go against my principles in regards to, if you're going to go to the media, you know, why do you have to speak about yourself and put the manager and the club into disrepute? At the end of the day, whether you're right or wrong, you speak to the manager privately. That's what you do. Shah, good morning. I'm sad about Garnacho, but I understand it's about the replacement. It's not going to be better, not another young player that has talent. We'll have to wait and see, Shah. I want to bring in, guys, this video. I want to bring in this video to you guys real quickly. If you don't mind, let me just play this video for you real quickly, okay? And I want you to learn about it. Learn and understand what Ruben Amorim is, what he does as a manager, okay? So I'm going to bring this from my Twitter page. I shared it on my Twitter page, guys, okay? So just watch this, okay? Watch this video.
Should back this man because I feel like no man. Let me explain why you and every single Man United fan should back this man because I feel like nobody's educated about this. So I'm going to explain it slowly, especially for the people who think he's the problem. All right, stay with me. Now, the year 2020 when Porto won it, this is the same year Ruben gets to Sporting. Right, I put it into ChatGPT. His first game was on March 4th, 2020. I then asked what formation did the previous manager play, and it was a 4-2-3-1. But the interesting part is that Ruben apparently shifted immediately to a 3-4-3 in his first game. So I had to make sure. Yeah, that season the manager was playing some type of variation of the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3, and they were not lying. In Ruben's first game, he played a 3-4-3, changed it completely, and continued for the rest of the season. There was a break because of COVID, but he played it for the remainder of the season. But this is the wild part. At the end of the season, after evaluating the team since March, he went on this summer, bro, to sell or loan out 17 players. Search it up yourself. This guy completely cleaned house at Sporting because he realized that a lot of these players don't fit the system that he wants to play. 17 players. After letting go of basically the entire squad, he went out and got a bunch of more people, all for a good price, and that fit his system, brought a bunch of people from the Sporting Academy up to the main team. And do you want me to show you the result of getting rid of 17 players he didn't want, getting players that he did want? Let me show you what happened the very next season. He didn't lose a single game next season. Actually, besides the second to last one versus Benfica, but at this point, he already won the league. He lost one game in an entire season and got them their first Portuguese league title for the first time in 19 years after just one summer of getting rid of the deadwood and getting the players that he wanted. And not only that, in addition to 2021, he helped them get 3 titles in the last 5 years. Sporting go 19 years without winning a league title. Right here in 2020, they decided to trust Ruben, give him control, and as a result of trusting in his system, they went on to win 3 out of the last 5 Portuguese league titles. titles. Do you guys understand what I'm getting at here? If Ineos and the Glazers, whoever, if they allow him to take full control and clean house here, which is needed, because I'm done with the stupid narrative of, oh, he has to adapt to the league, oh, he has to adapt to the strength of the players. No! Why would he play a 4 in the back for the remainder of the season so he doesn't know who works in his 3 in the back and he's lost in the summer? That makes no sense. And then I gotta hear people say, oh, how are you gonna let Garnacho go? First off, in my opinion, I think he liked Garnacho and he doesn't fit his system, but he tried helping. Like, Garnacho isn't a 10, but I think Ruben tried helping him. But after these comments, Ruben was like, bro, get the heck out of my club and let's start this rebuild. Telling you, he rebuilt a team, he will rebuild another if we give him the control. If we allow him to wipe the house, like he did at Sporting, 17 players gone in one summer. Get the players that fit his system. And similar to Sporting being irrelevant for league titles, kind of like Man United, I'm not saying he's going to automatically get us the league like he did in Portugal. What I'm saying is you could see how this man transformed the club. Similar to how he brought Sporting back to their glory days, he will do the same with Man United. Maybe not as quick, maybe not winning the title the first year out, but I'm telling you, this is the man for.
Big up Matty FC, guys. Big up Matty FC. Absolutely. Look, guys, this is exactly what it is. You have to be, to be kind, you have to be ruthless on players. And what sticks out on me about that video there is about Garnacho, about how Ruben Amorim tried to save Garnacho, tried to help Garnacho because he plays the 2 number 10s. He actually tried to develop Garnacho. But with Garnacho speaking out to the media, obviously that it's another backstab, isn't it? It's another Sancho moment when Eric Ten Hag gave Sancho 3 months off work, and then he backstabs him on Twitter, at the end of the day. So I agree with everything he said there. I think this is a project, a process that we have to go by because the evidence suggests that if we give Ruben Amorim the tools to do the job properly, Ruben Amorim will succeed. I am pretty certain of that. The guy is too smart. He's a very good manager. And you know what? I believe he knows what he's doing. And one thing about Ruben Amorim, which I like, is that he's not scared to make those decisions. He's not scared to get rid of club favorites, those player FC kind of players, if you know what I mean, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's Ciao, good morning, my friend. Garnacho is thinking about himself. You look compared to him to Armin that night and then day also, brother, also cost drama. No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not only about Garnacho. It is also about his brother. His brother was speaking up as well. His brother was causing controversy as well. Why is his agent brother getting involved? This is the thing that we need to get away from. This is the thing that Alex Ferguson tried to get rid of. He spent years, Alex Ferguson, trying to get rid of this mentality at the football club. Just trying to this distractions. That's what it is at the end of the day. Distractions. This is why I'd rather bring in players who actually want to win for this football club, will do what it takes to win for this football club and won't just think about themselves, because at the end of the day, there's no I in team, is there? So I would say that. Morning, Sal. The only positive today is the Glazer out protest. Otherwise, and I hope Akash, big up Akash. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I do hope that this Glazer out protest is strong. I hope that it's intimidating. I hope it's scary. I hope it's just not like we want Glazers out. Say we want Glazers out. I hope it's not a dance contest. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I want this to be strong. I want it to be scary. At the end of the day, and we need it to be up the ante kind of thing. Like make it more intimidating. Just up the ante, so to speak. Absolutely. Shah. I just think for me, it learned behaviors from senior players because they are not Roy Keane or Paul Scholes to help the nature human being sense. Nurture them. This is the whole thing, Shah Alam. Nurture. Now, this is why nobody is exempt from criticism at Manchester United. There are standards that we must abide to. There are predecessors before us that led the way in regards to how you should conduct yourself as a Manchester United player. How many interviews did you see Paul Scholes do whilst he was a player at Manchester United? As with Roy Keane, how many noises did you hear from Paul Scholes? How many noises did you hear from Roy Keane? Going behind the manager's back to speak to the media, in particular ESPN, who don't like us very much, for me, brought the club into disrepute. And I'm not going to flip-flop. I'm going to give the same energy I'm giving to Garnacho as I did with Sancho, as I did with Marcus Rashford as well. The same energy. You do not do that. You have a right to be disgruntled. You have a right to be upset and down about not playing in the final. But let me clear this up. This is the worst Manchester United team in the history. One of the worst since 1974. I even think 1974 team will beat this team. Okay, so at the end of the day, none of these players have a leg to stand on. None of these players can stand up and say, I should be playing. What, with your 6 goals and 2 assists all season? Why should you be playing? At the end of the day, whether the manager was right or wrong, you respect the manager's decision, because that manager is trying to fit you into a system because he plays 2 number 10s. He's tried his best to help you, and then you go behind his back and you do that. You know, this is what is destroying Manchester United, not Ruben Amorim. You know what I mean? These type of things, this is the culture. And that culture has been going on like a bacterial infection for years. And it comes from the Glazers and Ineos, guys. And that is where it comes from, guys. Absolutely, my peeps. Yale, big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. The match could also be a trial for everyone who plays. A trial for everyone who plays. You foul for the trial. Your head is gone on the chopper block. I agree. One thing, Yale, there will be players who are playing today that will be leaving the football club. I do believe that Johnny Evans will be playing some part in the game. I do believe that Ericsson will play, and I do believe that Lindelof will play as well, because obviously they're leaving the football club after many years, and it's just what Manchester United do in regards to respect. I would like to see some young players playing. I would definitely love to see the likes of Matata, Carmerson, playing in this game. Bring in a couple of young players, bring in a striker, bring in Musa. Why not? See what he can do. At the end of the day, everyone's expecting us to lose this game, so we might as well just go for it. You know what I mean? And play some youngsters, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Pearl. What's going on? Good morning from Singapore, Pearl. Good to see you. Morning, Reds. Nacho's a victim of the Rasmus syndrome. Exactly, Baz. This is exactly and as I said, culture at the football club. It's passing down. And when people tell you, you know what, oh, but Sal, this is a different team since 2013. This is a different team. How can you talk about culture when there's different players? When there's a culture, a habit, at a football club, when there is an addiction, like, for example, mentality, training, punctuation, media, social media, when there is a disease that hasn't been cured all these years, that type of mentality gets passed on to the next player, the next player, the next player. As I said, it's a bit like talking about a club, right? For example, Everton. What is Everton's heritage? What is their culture? Their culture is losing. Their culture is finishing in the bottom half of the table. And that can resonate, and that can be an addiction. That's it. What was Man United's culture before Alex Ferguson left? Ruthlessness, winning, serial winning. Professionalism. Walking into Old Trafford or any stadium around Europe with a suit, right? Why do you think Ruben Amorim wore the Manchester United blazer in the final? That is what Man United do. That is who we are. Dress for the occasion. I always believe that, you have to dress, you have to turn up like you mean it. Turn up like you mean it. Don't go there walking with your tracksuit bottoms half down, your headphones with one headphone coming out like that, walking like that into the ground and stuff like that. Turn up like you mean it. Turn up. Turn up. That's what I would say. Absolutely. Natty, we'll make it stay potential in another club like others. I understand the decision of Ruben. I support that. Yeah. Well, he's going to go. At the end of the day, it's not our problem. At the end of the day, professionalism is everything. It's quite weird, Sal, that the last 12 years we've had young players coming through, talented, but the attitude and other things of the pitch is always the problem. It's clearly cultural. Exactly, Shah. Exactly. And what did I say? Let's forget what I said, but let me give you an example. Ravel Morrison. This is from a decade ago, guys. So Ravel Morrison was deemed the most talented player to come out of Carrington, in Man United, since the class of 92. Ravel Morrison, right? But Ravel Morrison's off-field issues defeated him. His attitude defeated him. He ended up going on loan to West Ham. He went to Lazio. He went to all these teams, but his attitude just wouldn't change. No matter how talented he was, it just wouldn't change. His attitude just wouldn't change. So he got shipped off. And that is how it should be. You know, if you're not going to change, if you've got a bad attitude and it affects the group, that's what you can do. And this is precisely why when Alex Ferguson used to sign players, and I've said it on the show before, when Alex Ferguson used to sign players, he didn't used to talk to them about football. He used to arrange a meeting with him and their family, right? He used to meet the family, go to their house, have dinner with the family, get to know the person, right? Because you could be the best player in the world, but your attitude stinks. Your professionalism stinks. You know, and that is what it is. And that is how you separate success from normality. You know, so at the end of the day, what Alex Ferguson used to do before he would talk about football, get to know the person, get to know the guy. Ian, what's your favorite? What do you like to do in your spare time? Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? Do this, that, things like that. What are your hobbies? What do you like to eat? You know, do you drink? Do you smoke? If it, you know, I know a lot of the footballers don't smoke, but I'm just saying, you know, this is what they used to do. Paul Plays, what's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. We might sell Rasmus at 30 million. Can you take Delap in his place? I will. But unfortunately, Paul, that has no substance. Man United cannot sell Rasmus for 30 million because it doesn't comply with FFP and PSR. Man United need to sell Rasmus for 42 million minimum to comply with FFP and PSR. This is why I was talking about yesterday about Man United just taking a risk and just doing what they need to do and forget about PSR and FFP and just do it. Just do it. Just risk the points deduction, risk the fine, just build that team. You know, stop worrying about FFP because at the end of the day, Man City is still at court. Nothing's going to go and happen to them, are they? At the end of the day. So that's what I would do if I was Jim Ratcliffe, if he really cared what's going on the pitch. Afro, so Garnacho's gone, yes, but what about the other English crowns, Mount, Shaw and Maguire? They should also go, please. They should also go, please, there, but it doesn't matter about whether they're English, Afro. So we're not xenophobic on this channel, mate. This is an English football club at the end of the day. Let me tell you that. So let's not be xenophobic. It's not about being English. The one thing about them, Afro Soup, is they have professionalism, right? I'm not talking about Luke Shaw here because I think Luke Shaw needs to go. But Mason Mount and Maguire obviously have professionalism. Does that mean they're going to stay? No. But does it matter that they're English or not? No. We're Manchester United, not England, right? At the end of the day, no matter what player is on that squad, if he doesn't improve, if he's not good enough professionally, tactically, talent-wise, then they leave. You know, then they leave at the end of the day. That's what it is. And that goes with Ahmad, who had a stinker in that final again, right? He's not played well for 3-4 games now, Ahmad. Let's think about that as well, you know? Too small for me. Absolutely too small, one-dimensional. And, you know, and there's many players in that team that I would get rid of. Not just English, but a lot of players need to go. Tyra Malacia needs to go. You know, another player needs to go. Obviously, Mason Mount needs to go. Eriksen's leaving. Lindelof is leaving. You know, Evans is leaving. You know, Dalot, I would sell as well. Onana, I would get rid of as well. Rasmus, I would sell as well. It's not just about, you know, get rid of the English players. There's some hatred for England. I don't know what it is at the end of the day. You know, when you support an English football team, it does defeat the point at the end of the day. But yeah, anyway, crazy loser mentality. But anyway, guys, you know, that is what I would do at the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. Nacho overplayed and overhyped, and his mentality couldn't handle it. Baz, you know what I would say? That Nacho is a young player who has a lot of time to develop. He might have developed into the player we want him to develop into. But if your attitude is such to go to the media and stuff like that, it's going to be very difficult for you to reach the potential that we want you to reach because your ego is already inflated. You already think you're Cristiano Ronaldo when you're not even Theo Walcott. You know what I mean? That's what I would say about that, you know? And this attitude, can't teach old dog new tricks and stuff like that. It needs to go from the club. We need players who actually want to win for the football club and the fans and the heritage. You know, absolutely. They're standing on the shoulders of giants, guys. Man United. Ineos must sign significant players, otherwise we will be there next season complaining about the season. And this is what it all boils down, Natty. It goes without saying, doesn't it? At the end of the day, we can only judge Ruben Amorim based on this summer. I gave you that video earlier on about that Matty FC about what Ruben Amorim was allowed to do at Sporting Lisbon. He needs to be allowed to do this at Manchester United. He needs to be given the tools to do this, and we need to support him in this. Because at the end of the day, we're not looking at serial winners here. This is not David Beckham. This is not Mark Hughes. This is not Steve Bruce. These are those were winners, and they still got forced out of the football club, right? Andre Kanchelskis. We're talking about players who have underachieved, serially underachieved, get paid more than most players in the Premier League, if not in Europe, and they probably underachieved. Pound for pound, they're the worst big club in the world. Pound for pound, we're the worst big club. They say top 6 club, right? We're the worst elite club in the world. The worst, by far. Big up, Kenny. Spot on, Matty. Absolutely sharp. Big up, of course. Big up, everyone. Big up, Randy. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Why are they ruthless on the players like they do not on cutting costs? Why are not ruthless? I don't get what you mean there, Blake. Why are they not ruthless on the players like they do not cutting costs? I do not understand what you mean by that, mate. Sorry. Sorry, mate. Re-elaborate on that, my friend Natty. Smash the like, subscribe. Thank you so much, Shah. Big up yourself. Dropski, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. What up, brother? Big up yourself, bro. Hope you're good. Good to see you. I back Ruben to the hilt. Amorim in. Big up, Shah. I agree. What we can't be sitting here moaning about managers not being ruthless, and he needs to do his style of. I mean, when we're under Erik ten Hag, right? Under Erik ten Hag, this is how fickle sometimes it gets, right? People are saying he doesn't have a style of play. He needs to play his style of football. He needs to have a style of play. Then we get a manager like Ruben Amorim. I don't like his style of play. We shouldn't have his style of play. He should go back to basics. You can't win at the end of the day, isn't it? Akash, I don't rate Garnacho at all, to be honest. I want to speak on him leaving. Ruben is making it right choice. Else, especially if it was to thrive as a coach. He has to. I agree with part of that, Akash. I do think he's a good player. And he will shine at another football club. But not at a club like Manchester United. We're talking about a club like Real Betis. You know what I mean? For example, at Anthony's thriving. Because people seem to forget the heavy of the shirt of Manchester United. People forget how heavy that shirt is at Man United. Man United's shirt is heavy. Man United's shirt is the heaviest, one of the heaviest there is. So I would think that Garnacho will go to the likes of probably, even if he went to Leverkusen under Ten Hag, or he went somewhere like that, it would be a lot better for him than playing for Man United. Man United are too big for him. He's a talented player. He hasn't reached his potential. And that is it, but I will not diss him and say that, because this guy won us the FA Cup last year at his young, tender age, scored a goal in the final, which set us up for that. And he's done very well, in regards to his age. We need to look at that as well, because a lot of people are expecting young players to be the finished article at 20 years old, right? No player is a finished article at 20 years old, unless you're a generational like Lamine Yamal or Wayne Rooney or something like that, or George Weah. None of these players are the finished articles. So that's what we need to look at. We're expecting players these days to be Lamine Yamal. Now, Lamine Yamal's a one-off, one every 20 years. So at the end of the day, you can't just paint everyone with the same brush. You've got to look at it. He's 20 years old. The biggest problem we have at him at the moment is ego. Now, ego is something you can't nurture. Ego is something there that, you can't change. Some people are just egotistical. Some people love themselves and stuff like that. I tell you the story about Cristiano Ronaldo and Ruud van Nistelrooy. The story about Cristiano Ronaldo and Ruud van Nistelrooy. After a game, halftime, Ruud van Nistelrooy walked into the dressing room. Cristiano Ronaldo walked in after him. And Ruud van Nistelrooy said to Cristiano Ronaldo, "You don't cross the ball. You're doing 20 stepovers. I don't know when to expect the ball. Cross the ball. This is not a circus." He said that to Ronaldo when Ronaldo was young. And that was it. And Ronaldo's decision-making was not the best at that time. And everyone around that at that time was talking about, one-trick pony Ronaldo, that clown, that circus clown and stuff. People were talking like that in the early days of Cristiano Ronaldo. We were even thinking about sending him off on loan. You know, it's crazy, isn't it? So obviously, I don't diss players, young players, you know, too much. But the difference between Ronaldo, obviously night and day, and Garnacho, I'm not saying that Garnacho is going to become Ronaldo. Absolutely not. Ronaldo was a very quiet individual, family man. Garnacho is a little bit more egotistical. And that's what it is. Blah, 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 blah. MEC Glazers out. You know, issue Glazers. You know the real issue. I do know the real issue, mate. Blah, blah, blah. I saw Steve, a guy from 1958 group, saying empty the stadium and that I hope it happens today, but it's possible. I don't know whether Steve was being sarcastic, Sharp, because obviously he was responding to a tweet, what happened. But that is what needs to happen. Absolutely, Sharp. Stadium emptied, game cancelled. We don't want just protests like a PR campaign. It doesn't affect the Glazers. Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? Guys, anyone at the end of the day. Yes, MC Glazers out. I do know that. I am part of the Glazer out movement. I have been for a very long time. What have you done for the Glazer out movement, mate? Pearl, it also, Ruben Amorim, at least 6 months before showing more positive results at Sporting. It wasn't pretty at the beginning. It's not going to be, Pearl, in any form of life, in any business. Whatever you do, it's never going to be pretty. You're going to upset a lot of people. Some people are going to want you out. This is what's going to happen at the end of the day. You know, some people are going to... I remember I was in the music industry for 20 years, right? And we would make songs, spend a lot of money making a video, doing this. We believed in that song. We believed in that video. Send it to radio, get it distributed. It didn't get success. It didn't get success. And we're like, oh, for goodness sake. All that money waste, all this. Sometimes we would even travel to the likes of Detroit and and Houston and Chicago and places like that. You know, and it didn't work. But you move on and you do it again and again. And eventually it clicks. Now, you know, some people will tell you got to quit, Sal. Some people tell you got to do this. You're wrong. You're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You're wrong. But then it clicks. You stick to your philosophy. You stick to the plan. You do what you do. And then eventually the fruits of your labor will come true. And that's what I would say. Hard work as well. An anti-regeneration project have to take place. Yes, Randy, this is something that people must understand. And people must not forget about Ineos as well, because Ineos are weaker than the Glazers. Ineos are in Europe, right? And some of Ineos are in England today. So at the end of the day, they need protests. They need protests about them as well, not just the Glazers. I know that a lot of them supported Ineos, you know what I mean? So they don't want to call out Ineos. You know, so they need to call out Ineos as well, because Ineos are facilitators to the Glazers, and that's what needs to happen as well. Now, guys, a little bit of transfer news. That it does look likely that Onana will stay for another season. It is said that Manchester United are not looking to replace Onana at the moment, with more important positions on the pitch to be resolved. It does look like that Onana will leave at the end of next season, with AC Milan stopper Maignan coming in. Of course, Maignan will be a free transfer at the end of next season. Rumor is Man United are huge fans of Maignan and will look to bring him in on a free transfer next year. Now, obviously, Onana is a big problem at Manchester United, and he's making a lot of mistakes. I mean, the goal in the final on Wednesday was ridiculous. But if we look at the biggest problem at Man United right now, and Onana is one big problem, I know. But at the moment, what is the biggest overriding problem right now? It is not scoring goals. So Man United's main priority this summer will be to fix the forward line, the attacking line, and then move down the pecking order to the midfield, to the CDM, to the defense, to the right wing, and then Man United will lastly concentrate on the goalkeeper, guys. So that is very interesting. Of course, guys, another player that Man United are being linked with, of course, Link FC. I don't want you to say that. I know what you're going to say. But at the end of the day, there is a Brighton player named João Pedro. Of course, João Pedro is a Brazilian international currently playing for Brighton. He is a centre forward, but can also play left wing, right wing, and attacking midfielder. He's 23 years old. His market value is about 50 million euros. Incredibly talented individual. But my only bone with this, my only current criticism of this is that Brighton find these great players. Brighton find players like João Pedro. Brighton find these players and they make these players into 50, 60 million pound players. Exactly what we need to do, you know. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool are also interested in João Pedro. Of course, Liverpool are absolutely smashing it at the moment. They brought in Frimpong, and they look likely to bring on Florian Wirtz as well. So Liverpool are looking strong. Man United need to make a statement this summer. João Pedro, extremely talented, Premier League proven player that, you know what, incredibly good player. And it's the type of player that Man United will be looking for. Man United will be looking for players who are playing for the likes of Crystal Palace, Brighton, these type of players who are playing at these teams at the moment. We have no choice. We're not in Europe. So, you know, but that doesn't mean that these players are not talented. I mean, obviously, Liverpool have purchased players before from lower clubs, Sadio Mane, Robinson and stuff like that, who played for the likes of Hull City and Southampton. I mean, Lallana, Henderson, all these players, right? So at the end of the day, just because you sign players from lower clubs, I mean, they're not lower anymore, they're higher than us, doesn't mean that they're not going to be world-class players eventually. And I would much rather have these type of players that are going to give their all for the football club than players who are already established, want 300 grand a week, and you know what, just go in there for a paycheck, which we've made mistakes before. Of course, guys, Jobski. Garnacho is mid, to be honest. His ceiling isn't highest. We don't know that, Jobski. We don't know that. Because at the end of the day, I heard the same thing. I was around at Cristiano Ronaldo. I heard the same thing. I heard the same thing about Beckham. I heard the same thing about Paul Scholes. I heard these things. The ceiling is not that high. He's not that talented. I remember people talking about Beckham like he was overrated. He wasn't that talented. When he went on loan to Preston North End, he wasn't that talented. I don't know what he's going to be, Jobski, but I can see a talented player. But if his attitude carries on the same, he's going to end up like Pogba. All the talent in the world, career gone down the pan. You know, he's going to end up like that. You have to have an element of humbleness, an element of professionalism. And you know what? You have to play for your teammates, most of all. Even if he Mohamed Salah, he will become Hoyland. We know that. I mean, see, you don't need to tell this community know that. I've been talking all week about culture at this football club. MUC glazes out. I've been talking all week about culture. It comes from the culture at the top of the football club. But what do? Do we just sit down, twiddle our thumbs and not watch football anymore? You know, or do we just support the football club and support Ruben Amorim's quest to get success? I will support Ruben Amorim in everything he needs to do. If he needs to get rid of every single player, even if it's Ahmad, even if it's, you know, Garnacho, even if it's Royce Rasmus Højlund, I don't care. I'm supporting Rasmus Højlund. And then obviously the Glazer thing, which is the poison at the football club, hopefully will be bought out sooner or later by Qatar. I hope so, you know, and I can only hope in regards to that. But what do we do? You know, at the end of the day, at the moment, we hope that Ruben Amorim can be ruthless, change the culture at the football club, you know, and that's what we need to do because there is a bad culture at the football club, which has resonated throughout the years. Ruben will get rid of the players that have a negative impact on the dressing room, absolutely, and culture, it doesn't fit the system. Did Rashford and now Garnacho absolutely shot. This is exactly what it is. Culture. Culture at the football club needs to change. It needs to go. All this arrogance, egotistical, me, needs to go. That is it. It's over with that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's, you know, and to be honest with you, I'm tired of these players. I'm not affiliated to any players at Man United, and that is it, you know. Kenny, I'm not disappointed that how Garnacho's situation ended up exciting, but best wishes to him. Best wishes to him. That is how you do it, Kenny. Best wish to him. Wish him the best of luck. Obviously, guys, people don't know this, guys. People don't know this. I told people about it first on Stretford post about Rashford taking substances, having stomach cramps at training, where Ruben Amorim had to send him home in Ruben Amorim's first week in training, right? Then there was the issue with Anthony. Anthony told Ruben Amorim to F off in training, right? That's the mentality we're talking about here. People don't want to look at that. They just want to look at, oh, look at Anthony cooking. Look at Anthony cooking. They don't look at the personality here, right? They don't look at why he was moved on. You know, to win, you got to be 100% ruthless. You have to take it from the source, and you have to see where is the poison coming from, and that is it, and that's what you need to do. Akash, I find it jarring that Garnacho is prepared to call out awful league form this season, but fails to call his objective decision-making grandson. Akash, I believe in that. I agree with that. It's absolutely spot on. If we were first in the league, Akash, or we were in the top four, and he played all season, then you could say, well, he has a point, right? But we're talking about the worst season of all time. Garnacho has had something like 6 goals this season, 2 assists in 50 odd games. It's just not good enough. At the end of the day, what Ruben Amorim did, right or wrong, Ruben Amorim picked a team that he thought would win the Europa League. He knows that many of these players are not good enough. It's not just Garnacho. There are many of these players not good enough. I don't like Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount should leave. I think, there are many players in that team should go. I think Luke Shaw has come to the end of his career at Man United. I think there's many things that we need to look at, and we're just not looking at it, at the end of the day. Garnacho is just one of them. He's one of the problems. And the biggest thing is that you need to remove the bad energy. The bad energy from the squad. The players that can affect the other younger players and the other players in the squad, and annoy people and ruin morale and, team spirit, Randy, Bruno is going to Saudi Arabia and we can't stop it. That is it. If Bruno goes to Saudi Arabia, so be it. So be it. We'll get 100 million for Bruno. And then what? We reinvest that in the squad and buy 3 players, 2-3 players for that money. At the end of the day, Bruno's not coming to Man United and been a serial winner, has he? Bruno's not coming to Man United and won league title after league title after league title, Champions League campaign after Champions League campaign. He's been part of the worst Manchester United team in history, right? And not only that, when a ship is sinking, who do you blame? Who do you blame when a ship is sinking? The captain. The captain. He's the captain on the pitch, right? And all I see is petulance. All I see is bad performances. The only time he performed is when Roy Keane called him out. Maybe Roy Keane needs to call him out again. Maybe he'll start performing again. But we'll have to wait and see. Ruben Amorim wants to keep him. Fans of the club are softies. What MUC Glazers out? What have you done for Man United, mate? Let me just ask you. What have you done? Ultras would kick the owners out. Yes, they would. But we can't be talking about the ownership, the fans, when none of the people. I've been talking about it for a long time when no one else is doing anything here. Okay, so just to say that, I would say that at the end of the day. I'm not a softie, by the way. Kick your ass, mate. Morning, the Reds. Big up yourself. Absolutely. I don't agree, Gakash. That's just, softies and stuff like that. But yeah, we are weak. I've been saying that for a long time, in all honesty. Just repeating what I said on all my streams. It's just repeating everything. I will regret not selling Bruno when our club is broke. Absolutely. I will think we will regret. We won't regret it, mate. What we're going to regret? 16th, Natty. I'm not bothered, mate. I'm not bothered, to be honest. We need to empty stadium and cancel the game today. I agree, Shah. We need to do that. I hope we can do that. Turn up, yes, but we will turn it on. Let's see. Big up, Daniel. Amorim will dress to kill. Absolutely. Fuck them. You know what? MUSC Glazers out. I don't know if you're dyslexic, mate, but can you just write it as one message, please? Please, can you write it as one message? And don't swear on my stream, please. Thank you. Otherwise, you're going to get blocked, mate. Absolutely. I liked the way Amorim said yesterday that it's great that they came 6 months before next season and that the team is in a better place and they have to improve. But what the club should improve is the board. I agree, Freya. Absolutely. Culture at the football club. Culture at the football club is most important. I agree, Freya. Spot on. Randy, Amorim came and we suffered. Hope it's worth it. It will be worth it, Randy. Don't worry about that. It will be. No manager's going to change this absolute shit show, so we might as well support Ruben Amorim, of course. Walaikum salam. Sid, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Sal, hope all is well. Just wanted to say this season's the worst since United got relegated, I know. Really depressed. I hope we get stronger protests. Also, have you heard Qatar takeover replacing again? I'll take it with a pinch of salt at the moment, Sid. As people know, I'm going to Qatar next month. Maybe I'll find out something. Maybe. But at the moment, what's going on at the moment is all hearsay, speculation. It's something we want. It's something we desperately need, Sid. And it's something that should have happened if Jim Ratcliffe didn't get himself involved and facilitate the Glazers, our enemy at the end of the day. So I would take everything with a pinch of salt at the moment. Nothing is solid. Lots of news, lots of noises, but I hope we can only hope, Sid, isn't it? We can only hope, of course. Freya, Sal, do you think that the club will be able to pay a huge amount of money on Onana, Højlund and Mount so we can avoid the PSR rule? Look, what I said, Freya, they're not going to get nowhere near the amount of money that we want. For example, Højlund being 42 million. No one in their right mind would buy Højlund for 42 million. But Man United need to obviously comply with PSR and FFP. But obviously, what I would do, I would take the hit. I would risk a points deduction. I would risk a fine to build that squad. That's what I would do. I would risk it to build that squad. I would risk, the FFP and PSR. I sign the players we need to sign. I'll get rid of the players we need to get rid of. I would take the hit. Because at the end of the day, this is the only way Man United are going to go up. You got to bend some rules, guys. You got to bend some rules. If you want to be successful, sometimes you just have to bend some rules. Because at the moment, all it seems to me is that Ineos and the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe, whoever it is, they're looking at it thinking, FFP and PSR is a good rule. It's a good rule. It's a good excuse. It's a good excuse to send to the masses. Cutting 200 jobs. Don't worry about that. That's just a manipulation tactic. It's a manipulation tactic to give you the illusion that we're broke. So that when we go into the summer window, you're going to think about those people who've been sacked and you're going to say, well, you know what? We did have to make 200 people unemployed. We obviously haven't got money. And you're going to fall for that business manipulation tactic. That's what it is. Kevin, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. It's a bit late in the day, as they call it, but why haven't the United fans protested nearly every home game, especially against the big games like City? I agree, Kevin. This is completely a very intelligent comment, a very, very good one, because I agree with that. I think that the protests should not be exclusively down to when something goes wrong. For example, losing in the Europa League final. It should be intimidating. It should be forthwith. It should be scary. It should be like that. As we know, we've been talking about a long time, Inter Milan, Juventus, AC Milan, Barcelona, Real Madrid. What would they do? What would they do? They won't stop this. Banners, we want Glazers out. Say, we want Glazers out. Doesn't scare the Glazers. And I'm not only talking about the Glazers here. Ineos as well. We're not doing nowhere near enough to put pressure on Ineos. Nowhere near enough to put pressure on them. You know what I mean? And I think we need to be scary. We need to make Old Trafford scary. Old Trafford is a happy hunting ground for everyone at the moment. When I used to see Old Trafford, teams used to lose games in the tunnel. Nowadays, they've won games in the dressing room before they've even come out. Because at the end of the day, Old Trafford is too nice. It's too nice. Got Fred the Red running around. La, 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 la. Lovely, lovely, happy-go-lucky stuff. We need, for the sake of the football club, if you care about this football club, we need it to be intimidating, scary again. Absolutely. Big up, Kevin. Thanks for joining the show, my friend. Big up yourself. Sal, I have a feeling that Mount won't be sold because Amorim loves the way he plays. We'll have to wait and see, Fred. Ruben Amorim is the smiling assassin at the end of the day. You know what I mean? He's a smiling assassin. Onana Dalot is going to get to sacked if he's not careful. Onana and Dalot is going to get... we'll have to wait and see what happens in the summer. Dalot needs to go. Onana needs to go. Definitely, I agree with that. Bakaria, bald-headed fraud, chicken shit Glazers. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Natty, is our protest is hard. Qatar will come, and biggest problem is that they sell off owners who do not care about the football club. You know what I would say is Qatar were in the football club right now. The debt would have been cleared. The stadium would already be being built. We probably would have stayed at Old Trafford as well, right? Of their own money, the squad would have been cleared. New players would have been in. Ridiculous, scandalous, shameless money would be spent on that squad right now. It would be up to $1 billion would be going straight down on that squad. Drop like a bomb on that squad. Definitely, that is what will be happening right now. And we'll be getting players in. The stadium will be built. We're staying at Old Trafford. Everything will be fixed. No debt. No money we owe on transfers. Nothing like that. It will be straight up ruthlessness. What will be going on right now? Straight up. We'll probably be in the Champions League now. This is how big it was. But Jim Ratcliffe should be held accountable. He should be held accountable. He's the one who facilitated the Glazers. And as I said on my short video, check out the short video. I said, I'm seeing Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes, Sir Alex Ferguson shaking the hand of the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe after the game in Bilbao or before the game, whenever it was, on my short video. I showed that, and when I see that, it makes me sick to my stomach. It really does make me sick to my stomach. I'll be honest with you guys, Big up, Nat. With Qatar, where would we be been for the last 2 years? That's exactly what I just said. Ten Hag would have been sacked, would have been top 4, competing. I always wonder where we'd be. At the end of the day, whatever would have happened, Shah, right now, we would be overall in a much better place. In fact, we'll be excited, we'll be cocky, we'll be confident, we'll be on it. We'll be on it from the beginning. Absolutely. My cancer tumors grow. Have you got cancer? MSC glazes out. Don't mess about with cancer, mate. Have you got cancer? Why are you going, my cancer tumors grow? Sorry if you have, but yeah. We love Man United, tanks. Big up, Abel. Hope you're doing well. Chow, the protest before against Villa won't work at fans still going to games. Yeah, I agree with that, Chow. Absolutely agree with that. The stadium needs to empty. We got too many people who are too excited. We get drunk. We can drink beer. We're going to go to the game. Hey, we'd say a little glazes out, and then go. You know, you need more. You need more. You need more strength. You need more anger. You need more, because they're doing it passively. They're doing it in a way that, oh yeah, but you know what? I want to go to the game. You can't. Excuses. I just want to go to the game. I just want to. Excuses. That's what it is at the end of the day. Sure, there was a time when we were unbeaten in 2020 getting results, yet fans were still complaining about the style of play. But when Ruben, there's a style of play, but complain. I think what we need to do, Shah, is that what we need to do overall is that what Man United need to do is just ignore these idiots, you know, ignore it and just do what you got to do. And I hope that the board and everything are strong and let Ruben Amorim do what he needs to do. Ruben Amorim needs the power. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ten Hag, all past managers after Ferguson were all given time and players to prove their worth in the club. But faith and we should all as well give Amorim time and players if he wants. Not only that, Frere, he needs the power to get rid of certain players that he wants as well. You know, he needs to have time to do what he wants to change the culture at the football club. Now, I firmly believe he's been given the tools to do this in regards to Rashford, in regards to Garnacho and other players, Anthony. You know, I think he's been given the tools to do this. So hopefully we'll be able to remove a lot of players, bring a few players in and totally squash that horrible, toxic culture at the football club right now. I hope so. At least Amorim didn't abolish his principles. Exactly, Kenny. We have to get back him. Do you think Ruben Amorim will be here next season? Yes, I do, Natalie. Jose Estepino, good player, Abel. Yep. I loved Kanchelskis as an LSE fan. Big up Chaploka. Thank you so much, Chaploka Chips. Andrei Kanchelskis ended up signing for Everton of all teams. He ended up signing for Everton after he didn't want to accept a contract at Manchester United. What happened? Andrei Kanchelskis was a very popular player at Man United. Honestly, if you're around during that time, his speed was absolutely incredible. Right. So what happened is that him and his agent wanted this contract. They wanted an astronomical amount of money. And what happened? We got rid of him. Culture. Even though he's a fan favorite. Goodbye. You know, no, you don't want to do that. Okay, goodbye, Andre. And then his career fizzled out into nothing, didn't it? You know, went to Fiorentina and other teams like that, of course. Ronaldo had RVN to kick his ass. Nacho had none. Exactly. Onana out. There you go. Onana out. Absolutely. I voted Pedro since he was in Woodward. Absolutely. Big up Johnny. Big up Pedro. Excuse the pun. Obviously, it's to do with Napoleon Dynamite. If you've seen Napoleon Dynamite, vote Pedro. That one. That's where I got it from. Absolutely. Shout out to Napoleon Dynamite. Who are you talking about? Big up, Shaw. Sal, come on now. Garner is a kick and run player. He never takes on a fullback. Listen, Akash, I've been supporting this football club very long time. Let's not be unfair here. Let's not show a low ball IQ. He's a good player, mate. He's a 20-year-old. He's not a good kick and run. Then you can say that about Ahmad, who has less stats than him, you know? So at the end of the day, look, you know, you can't just say 20-year-old is a kick and run merchant. You can't. I've worked in football a very long time. You can't do that. Players develop. Sometimes players make it at 22, 23. When they reach 22, 23, if they haven't improved, then you could say he's a kick and run merchant. But come on, man, let's be fair, Akash. You're better than that, mate. Let's be fair. At the end of the day, let's be fair. All right. He's not the finished article. His ego is his problem, not his talent. He's young. I don't judge 20-year-olds. I've been around a long, long time supporting Manchester United before probably you were born, Akash. So at the end of the day, I will not judge his talent. at 20 years old. You know what I mean? I will not be unfair just because I want him at the football club. I will call things as they are, you know, subjectively. Onana also the biggest problem in us in their position. We know, yeah, it's whether we can get him away. That's the problem. 70 million is a bit expensive. Yeah, that's the rumored price. Would you take Sal Pedro over Cunha? I don't think we have the money to get both of them. I wouldn't know. I'll get Cunha. Good morning, Tyborg. How you doing? I think Pedro scored 15 goals this season, though, to be honest. Good morning, Tyborg. Long time no see. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing good. Good to see you. Radek Vitek is coming back from loan. That's a good one, Annie. I'm glad about that, to be honest with you. I'm glad about because I think he's a very good goalkeeper. He would be my first choice. Cindy, what's going on? Onana for one more season. He's like those on the hand, the things that you see in the crowd. Yeah, I know them. You see it in the wrestling, don't you, Cindy? You see it in the wrestling with a big hand and stuff like that. But yeah, I would get rid of him. I hope we can. It is only rumors. Natty, I do not think we will sign Pedro. We have to sign Gutierrez. Of course, we're going to sign, but they're two different players, Natty. They're two different players. Who's your source, Natty? You're just spreading rumors. But you can't have Pedro Cunha. No, you can't. It's going to be one. And as I said, Man United have a list of players. In fact, Man United have two lists of players. If they don't get Cunha, they get Pedro. They don't get Pedro, they get Turkey. They don't get Turkey. It's like that. It doesn't mean that Man United are going to sign all of them. They'll be linked to players that they are after, which will be on a conveyor belt of players. That's what it is at the end of the day. Guys. Some fans wanted Thomas Frank to replace Amorim. It's incredible. They're idiots. Roma goalkeeper, best player. He's a good goalkeeper. Yeah. Jale, Delap looks to find ways to Everton. They have thrown many big bags at him. If he wants to go to Everton, lack ambition, let him go to Everton, Jale. Simple as that. I don't really care about him. When players come, Man United, they feel like they made it. That's true, Randy. Very true. Shirt is heavy as well. They realize how heavy the shirt is. That's what they do. Sal, today is 6 months since he came in. But I reckon he will be okay. He'll be all right, mate. Don't worry about that. He'll be all right. This is where it starts, mate. This is where it starts. Kyrie, I would love for Greenwood to come back despite what snowflakes think. No, Kyrie. No. We don't say that on the show, mate. At the end of the day, it's not about snowflakes. It's about what's right and wrong, right? It's what's right and wrong. What he did was wrong. Right, the charges were dropped. He was not guilty. Okay, so let's not normalize brushing off this kind of thing, right? Because before he did the thing with his girlfriend, he went on a bender with Phil Foden, and a woman got beaten up in a hotel room, right? And Phil Foden took the brunt of it. So let's not do this. Let's not do this. If he came back to Man United, there will be an array of abuse for him. We need to move on from him. Best of luck to Mason Greenwood and his family, and we move on. Oh, goodness me. I just, it's too much normalization of abuse, man. Morning, everyone. Morning, barman. When we sign, we have to check the mentality of the players. Yeah, that's what I said earlier, Nutty. It doesn't matter who the player is. Nobody is bigger than the club. Absolutely. And the culture must change. We have to stay behind Amorim now more than ever. Tyborg, great comment. Best comment of the day. Big up, guy. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Good morning, Grayo. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, brother. I hope you're doing. Sorry I'm late. I'm on in. No problem, bro. I hope you're doing well. Nothing much, mate. Just having a little bit of debate, of course. Big up, Grayo. Hope you're well. Sal, who would you give captaincy if Sal Bruno? I've been asked that a lot of times. Probably Licha, Delict, someone like that. Someone of that level. Someone who's fit. That's what I say. Good morning, fan. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Is Bruno our Coutinho, Sal? Probably. Coutinho was younger, though. A lot younger. Tyborg, Delict is my captain. I say that. I second that, mate. Ugarte. See, me and Tyborg think the same, mate. We think the same. Licha, Delict, and Ugarte. Absolutely. Maybe Casemiro if he stays. Absolutely. Maybe Casemiro if he stays. Darren, we can't cancel the game today. We don't want the season going on any longer. Darren, there you go. Love Darren, man. He gets it. He gets it, mate. Big up. Bring back the face, Bruno. Big man thing. In it, Clay. Nah, mate. Serie A is a weak league, groovy team. Let's not go there. Let's not do this revisionism. Serie A is a weak league. I know it. I'm connected to Napoli and stuff. It's not a good league. Big up, Sal. I'm excited for Amorim's transfer window. The factory reset is way overdue. I agree, EC. I agree with that 100%. City will get off. You know why they need them here. A tool for other when we get it. Yeah, they will get off. So why don't we, Daniel? Why don't we bend the rules a little bit? Why are we being so nice and friendly? And we're FFP and PSR. We got to be ruthless. We got to bend the rules a little bit at the end of the day. We really do. Glazers out all day, but Ineos have to go as well. Yep, I agree. I agree with that. Of course. I mean, I think it'd be easier. I think it'd be easier to get rid of Ineos than it would be to Glazers. Thank you so much, Shah. Big up yourself. Thank you. Hindsight make many look intelligent. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, as they say. Early season, where will Spurs go next? You see top finish. I see a good season next season, Daniel. Believe me, you can quote me on that one. Makes me so mad. Jim Bob gave Glazers a lifeline. Absolutely, gave him a life support machine. Ridiculous, sad, isn't it? EC, big up EC. Glazers in, Ineos out, Glazers out. Big up Frere, big up yourself. I agree with that one all day long. Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes can't be Man United if they are handshake the Glazers. Absolutely. Are you tingling, my geezer? Are you making fun of my accent because I got a London accent? What do you talk about? Do you talk like this, my friend? Do you talk like this? Or, my brother, do you talk like that? Well, let me know what you talk about. Protest of Villa is more seen. And by the way, I'm South Asian. My dad is anyway. So you guys can just get out of here. My dad is. My mum's white. A protest of Villa is more seen as being bitter for losing the final. This is the thing, fan. Why do we have to wait for something bad to happen to do these protests? Why do we have to wait for something bad to happen? Why? I mean, but absolutely. Big up, Charles. How you doing, my friend? Agree with you 100%, mate. Amorim warned us that the storm is coming, and it already came, and he has well warned us. Yeah, exactly. Trust in Ruben Amorim, Fred. Trust in Ruben Amorim. Cindy, the only good thing Amorim has seen how crap some of these players are. He said it in the press conference, isn't it? He said it in the press conference that if we did waited 6 months for Ruben Amorim to come in, Ruben Amorim wouldn't know the problems at the football club. And it would have been just prolonging everything. So at least now he knows the problems at the football club. Absolutely, Cindy. That's what I think. Big up yourself. Shylam, today's match is irrelevant. Don't go. I mean, what they should use the match for is protests. That's what they should use it. Absolutely. But as Darren said, do you really want to prolong the season? They might deduct us 10 points, guys. We cancel the games. They might deduct us 10 points. We go down. Might make some people happy. Apparently, as rumors is, Amorim told Nacho to find another club that he is in. Yeah, said that yesterday, my guy. The problem is, of course, the owners, until something changes, there is no proper improvement impossible. I was against Ineos from the very beginning, and my fear is that their back down is now a reality. I agree, Tyborg. I mean, I'm waiting for the Ineos apologies, but they're just hiding behind the Glazers. That's what they're doing at the end of the day. Is Pedro what Man United need? Football Highlights FC, is he? I would leave that to Ineos. I like him. Good player. Talented. Is he got the right mentality? That's up to Ruben Amorim to get to know him. At the end of the day, we need to not only sign the talent, we need to sign the personality as well, of course, guys. CSM was not finished at article. Absolutely. Far from it, UK Darren. We all remember that, don't we, mate? Sad. It is sad. It's not happy. I'm not happy he's going. Absolutely not. But we have to do what's best for the football club. Absolutely. Guys, to a revelation, decision-making improvement. Yeah, he was, mate. Absolutely. It's what I said earlier, mate. Absolutely. Shah loves to take the glory. All the best, brother. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam to Ploka. Big up yourself. Cunha coming in could fix. I like him as a player. He would fix it. And we've obviously looked at him a lot. And we've obviously seen that he has the right mentality to play for Manchester United, of course. Thomas Frank is a great coach because he's been improved for fans. Fans look down on their nose at it's not ignorant, goes to George. It's not ignorant. Don't call this community ignorant, George, because he manages a small club. And what happens to small clubs? pressure expectations is zero. It's zero. There's no pressure expectations on that team there. Goals for George. Goals, you can make your point. No one is turning up their nose. Is he the right man to manage Man United? It's hypothetical. At the end of the day, we don't know that. But at the end of the day, managing Brighton and Hove out, managing Brentford is different to managing Manchester United, right? That is what people are saying. It's not ignorant. It's facts. You don't need to call out ignorance on people, mate. Who wants to play for Thomas Frank? He's not a profile. I mean, at the end of the day, we wouldn't know that. But I wouldn't say that, people are ignorant for doubting him. I mean, come on. I doubt him. If he came to Man United, I would doubt him until he does something. At the end of the day, it's easy to manage a team like Brighton. People don't understand what Man United are trying to do. They look at things simplistically. What we're trying to do is change a culture of a football club. So ultimately, we could challenge for titles. We could challenge for Champions Leagues. To do that, we need to erase a mentality and a culture that has been existing for 13 years. And that is what we're trying to do. In regards to Thomas Frank at Brentford, there's no culture to change because your expectations is on the floor. So there's no pressure. So you play with freedom. That is what it is at the end of the day. Someone like Garnacho went for Brentford, they'll go and probably score 15, 20 goals a season. That is how these teams work. It's not simplistic. Football's not that easy. I'm from Hackney Wick, Innit Governor. Hackney Wick don't say Innit Governor, mate. Hackney Wick, I'm from Leighton Stone. Hackney Wick don't go Innit Governor. They don't overemphasize that they're from Hackney Wick. Mr. Groovy Toposky. They are not from, they don't say Groovy Governor. They don't say Groovy either. Basically, Innit Governor. Real EastEnders don't make fun of the East End accent, right? At the end of the day. What accent does Groovy have? Does he have this accent, y'all? Does he talk like this? Or does he talk like this? Is it this one? Is it this accent? My brother. Is it that accent? Or which accent does he have? Does he have Je m'appelle Mia Groovy? I mean, this is what I'm saying. I'm from East London, the Inuit. Guys, I used to do accents. I used to be doing accents when I was younger. Shot in the league. I got shot in the league. South Africa, shot in the league. The apartheid got shot in the league. Big up. If you haven't done already, thank you so much, Graham. Big up yourself. Tyrone, what's going on? Good morning. I think relegation is the only thing that will cause Ineos. No, it won't, Tyrone. Absolutely won't. It won't. That is not a good argument to have. Tyrone, Man United being relegated, all Ineos and the Glazers would do is sell players, sell first-team players. Old Trafford would still sell out 77,000 a week. Revenue would sell out shirts, merchandise, etc. Man United will make more sponsorship deals, Tyrone, and they will stay. They're not interested in whether we're in Division 1, League 1, Division League 2. They're interested in the regeneration project and making money at Man United. That's what they're interested in doing. They're not interested in the success. They can recoup the money that we will lose from the Premier League. They can do that. So saying that the only good thing to happen to Man United is being relegated is a little bit irresponsible. It is, at the end of the day. And they all flocked, mate, apart from Mata. Amorim is now ruthless to play the players. They were treated smoothly. Now it's time to be ruthless to them. Absolutely, mate. I agree. Where all the people said that it was immoral to take Qatar money, they won't say it. They won't even admit it, mate. Right now, EC, they won't even admit it. They're not even admitting it now. Bring back Lukaku in it, Governor. Today's game will be proved to us if set go and set and remain. Big up, Frere. Could be more players coming than Garnacho could be. I hope so, mate. I hope so. It's only Tyrone, only if he's backed, mate. We can only say that if he's backed, Tyrone Williams. I don't want to offend my English friends, but you guys have become too soft the last 2 decades. Silently watching the downfall is itself. I wouldn't say Man United exclusively, Tybo. I wouldn't say England exclusively. I would say Man United. Because this would never happen, Tybo, at Liverpool. It would never happen, mate. The Glazers would have been gone a long time ago. We're not tough enough in regards to what we want, right? What these English fans want. I'm English, but what these fans want is watch the game, have a pint, that's it. If they really care, like the ultras care about Inter Milan, like this and that, they would empty that stadium, and they'll make it pretty uncomfortable for Glazers, financially, etc. Protests are not enough, Tyrone. It wouldn't happen at Napoli. It wouldn't happen at Inter Milan. The Glazers would have left. They're not enough. Games need to be cancelled. Everyone. And it needs to be a ruthless thing. Ultras. Did you know manager and players went in the San Siro after a game, went to the crowd and had to answer to the ultras in the middle of the bloody, next to the goal. In the stand, they had to answer. The manager, the owners, and the ultras were asking them questions. What's going on when they lost the game? Look at the difference. Tyrone, I love your comments, by the way. Williams, big up. I mean, what I would say, Tyrone, can I say something, Tyrone? Football's subjective. None of us know what the actual problem is, because Man United's problems go all the way up, bro. Man United's problems go all the way up. They resonate. I mean, if someone told me, I would be wrong 1,000 times out of 1,000, but it would bring Man United success, I will take the success. That is what I want at the end of the day, my man. But yeah, I mean, if Ruben Amorim is backed this summer, there's no excuses. I agree. We can't be waiting forever. We've been waiting 13 years, for goodness sake. Big up, Tyrone. Thank you for joining me, mate. I don't see you often, but it's good to see you. What would you cause Ineos and the Glazers to leave at the registration project falls through the council games? I mean, we need something like that to happen, the regeneration project and that, absolutely. It's true. Wouldn't happen at Liverpool at all, but it can be done to unite the fan base. But what can be done to unite the fan base? Tyrone, as a man who's a former season ticket holder of Man United, we have a number of problems, in regards to some of the fan base. Unfortunately, we have a discriminationary problem. We have a ignorance problem, unfortunately. And, we're getting into the realms where people are saying that no one outside Manchester should have a season ticket, which is wrong. I'm from East London. And at the end of the day, when David Beckham was crossing the ball to serve Man United, to win Man United a treble, he was from East London, right? And people weren't complaining then. Football is a universal game. And I think the problem is that people are, I would call them elitists, that they think they're better than everyone else, And I know a lot of elitist guys. I know one here, and I'm in the UAE, Tyrone. So I know a lot of them here, Tyrone, I know a lot of those people here. One of them owns the Sal fan branch. And they even him, they think they know more than everyone else. And I said, all right, then, mate, come on the show, see how much you know. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, we have a divided problem at Man United. We're not united. We need to be more intimidating. We need to be scary as a unit. Look at Paris Saint-Germain. Look at Celtic. Stand up for what they believe in, even though it's going to get them sanctions in regards to fines and things like that. They stand up for what they believe in, and I admire that from them. Fans are tavering and wondering for the summer recruitment and the first 7 games of next season before exploding Malaysia tour. The Malaysia tour, by the way, is an absolute nonsense. I don't want to be that, but I'm doing the watch-alongs, guys, so don't forget to join me for that. Good morning, Fanactivate. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Who are ya? Big up, Groovy. By the way, Leyton Orient are playing today, Groovy. Leyton Orient are in the playoff final against Charlton Athletic. They've got a chance to get in the championship. Malaysia tour soon. We'll make 10 million from that. Yeah, I'm doing a watch-along, Daniel. Please join me for that, guys. Liverpool fans, we would have got the Glazers out years ago, but we are in the worst season and carry on getting 75 fans. That's the problem, my mate. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm off now. Let me just read this one. We are all fans. Peace, brother. Absolutely, man. Miles, thank you so much for joining. Miles O'Reilly, big up yourself. We are all fans. Love Man United and bleed red. Big up yourself. Big up everyone on the stream, guys. Really appreciate you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video as well. Much love to you all. And I'll see you later, probably for Chatterbox. I might come later. Keep your notifications on. And obviously, we'll see you for the watch along later on, guys. So take it easy, guys. See you later. Peace.